My name is John Randall, and I'm an emergency medical technician in Northeast Pennsylvania, in the Poconos. I've been a volunteer with West End now for 8 years, and actually an EMT for 7. Emergency medical technicians provide basic life support ambulance service. We splint your leg, we can deliver your baby. Our basic job is to make sure we don't hurt people any more than they're already hurt. But we don't perform any invasive skills. We don't give you any drugs. We can't give you an IV. We do have a computerized way of shocking your heart if you're in a heart attack, but paramedics can do more for you in that situation. If you would have asked me prior to the 8 years that I served, you would never have gotten me to admit that I would serve as an EMT on an ambulance. It's not something I ever thought I would do. And it surprises my friends, and especially my mom, who thinks that there's no way she would have ever seen me in a situation where there's blood and guts. The ambulance company sends out to our service area every year a subscription form where they ask for a donation. On that form there's a little box, and it says, check here if you would like to help us. Well, I saw that, it caught my eye, and I said, well, that might be a nice way to meet some of my neighbors and the folks in the area, so I checked it. Well, maybe they would like me to come down and run a bingo game or help with the trucks or in the office where I have some experience. I never ever expected that they would want me to be an emergency medical technician on the ambulance. I thought that was for the trained people who went to school to learn to do that. They said, you're telling me that you'll send me to school and train me to be an emergency medical technician, and all I have to do is volunteer my time? And he said, yes, you know, that's what we want you to do when we have that box there. We're not asking you to come down and run a bingo game. We want people to come and serve the community. About 2 months after I joined the ambulance corps, I started an EMT class and absolutely loved it. The more I have done it now over the last 8 years, the more rewards I have had from it. I have delivered a baby. I have cut his umbilical cord and wrapped him. It was the happiest day of my life. I had a huge smile for a week about it. This is a pager. Every EMT who served with West End Ambulance gets one. It allows us to serve 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. And you hear it going off just now. This is the way that each one of us can serve our community. Yeah, serving a rural setting is a challenging thing, and I think if you come from a city, you're used to all of the streets having a name. Well, not all of the streets here have a name, and most of the addresses are rural addresses. For example, my home is RR5 Box 5122. That doesn't tell us if we have an emergency call how to get to your home. Most likely, if you have a neighbor who lives in your area, he knows when he hears the directions coming out from the control center. Oh, I know that house. That's my neighbor Joe who lives down the street, or I know that house. I pass it every day on my way to work. And we all have blue lights on our cars, or we're allowed to. It doesn't allow us to run red lights, and it doesn't allow us to speed, but it allows us to tell the community we're responding to an ambulance call or to an emergency call. And if they could get out of the way, that would be nice. It could be that we're responding to your house. And most times people do. They're generally very courteous here in Pennsylvania. It allows us to provide a certain level of care, at least until the ambulance arrives, the cavalry arrives, so to speak. I had a teacher who gave me a great background. She told us that in any case, we get invited into people's lives at generally bad times in their life. The only exception to that, of course, is a woman who's expecting a baby that I can think of. The most of the times we get invited into our house or to your car or whatever, it's because you're in trouble and you need our help. This can be a very stressful time for EMTs and paramedics, and the way we get through that is to make sure that with each patient that we see and we take care of, that we do the best we can. I can't change the fact that you ate French fries every day for the last 20 years, and I can't change the lifestyle choices that you made over 20 years. All I can do is deal with the certain circumstances that we have presented to us, and that means to give you the best level of the training that I have received over the years, give you every chance if you had one. I have been associated with some wonderful people. The proudest day of my life was on 9/11, when every ambulance we have in both buildings that we use was staffed 100% and then some, and we were chomping at the bit to allow the Pennsylvania Emergency Management Agency, PEMA, to allow us to go into New York. You know, I'm sure most Americans who have ever been to those buildings remember well, and for me it was sort of personal as well. And again, I think for our group it was personal because those were emergency and first responders and firemen responding to those buildings. We sat there as a group and watched as those buildings came down and wondered about the families of the firemen and EMTs and policemen who went there and sort of shared that day together. It's a that hasn't happened before. It's a day I won't forget. I never would have guessed of the rewards of this job. There is just so many things that it's very difficult to put into words. As I said to you, we are often, or most often, invited into people's lives and homes at very stressful and bad times in their lives. The opportunity to provide comfort and care in that instance is more rewarding than you can imagine, especially when you do it well. We're still learning. I've been serving for 8 years, every weekend for 8 years just about, and every time I go out I still learn a little bit about how I can do my job better. There are few jobs. You know, I have a day job, but that's my vocation, and EMS is my avocation. I absolutely love what I do.